Welcome to the ultimate super coach and fantasy sports show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Inside NBA show. Wednesdays are, of course, grit and grind. Look, today is going to be a weekly show. We're going to cover the games that were played today. We're going to preview the games for tomorrow. We're going to go through some transaction trends. As always, we are brought here today by the Standard Squeeze, Ryan from Astute Newstead, and Bonus Bank. And I suppose straight up, let's get into the Daily Rewind. The first game that I've got today was the Boston Celtics taking care of the Cleveland Cavaliers in behind both Tatum and Brown's 25 points. Look, the love was shared around today. There was 10 rebounds by Tatum, all defensive rebounds, 10 rebounds by Kristaps, and 21 points from them. We have 9 points from popular waiver wire target Sam Hauser. And in 22 minutes, Al Horford did a little bit of cardio today. 2 points, 5 rebounds. Look, if he keeps this up, probably a drop in most formats, which is kind of what we were looking towards with Kristaps Porzingis. See a few guys in some of my groups trading Derek White. 17, 4 and 4 today on good efficiency. He's got 37 minutes today, and he's been playing well. Garland and Mitchell were the stars, even in a losing team for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 29 points. We've got 29 points from Donovan Mitchell and 26 points from Garland. 7 assists. 7 assists, 6 rebounds from Donovan Mitchell, and 3 assists from Dono Mitchell. Sorry, guys, stuffed that up a few times. ESPN started pumping a heap of gear into my ears. Max Strus, 17 points, 5 of 11 from 3. And Dean Wade started, but didn't really make that impact. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Jarrett Allen, even though I really enjoyed his couple of blocks and his 3 steals today, but just 9 shots in 37 minutes. Look, I probably just expect more from my starting center. Levert was back. He's been out for a little bit and made little impact as he started to work his way back into the lineup. The second game that I want to look at is the Lakers versus the Mavericks. LeBron James versus Luka Doncic. And LeBron had 33, 8, and 9, whereas Luka Doncic had 33, 6, and 17 assists. Look, us here in Australia are very excited about Dante Exum starting. 26 points, 8 of 10, 17 points in the fourth quarter, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Kangaroo Kobe is back after a little stint out of the NBA. He owns part of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix over here in Australia. And look, I'm excited to see him play his best basketball. Look, I don't expect him to shoot 80% every game or anything like that, but definitely worth an add in standard formats. Luka, phenomenal. Seth Curry, seeing him get the start, but we saw Tim Hardaway Jr. get the bulk of the minutes. 12 minutes from Curry, 37 minutes from Hardaway, and actually 32 points from Hardaway as well. Lively was good, and Grant Williams, again, shooting in and around that 70-80% for his 19 points. All people that we could look at in our targets. The Nuggets took care of the Bulls. Look, Reggie Jackson was on an absolute tear, 25 and 6, which started to make me think, hey, maybe I shouldn't have dropped him. Jokic was booted from this one. He was ejected. And I saw a lot on the internet about, you see something like, we're going to have a chat about Draymond later on, and that's, just not on. Look, Jokic was pretty unlucky to get thrown in this one. The bench got some run in this one. Aaron Gordon played 32 minutes. Michael Porter Jr. had 32 minutes and scored his 17 points. And of course, that 25 that I spoke about from Reggie. Kobe White, 27 points. Should be rostered in every format. Vucevic, really good with his 26 points. And DeMar DeRozan, I would be worried as a DeMar DeRozan owner. 3 of 13, 14 points, 5 assists. Hasn't seemed to be doing too much. I'm not even really considering DeMar DeRozan, who's been around that 90th ranked player at the moment. I'm not even considering him a buy low candidate at this stage. Maybe this is just what this version of DeMar DeRozan is. Drummond got you 14 minutes. Torrey Craig came back down to earth a little bit today after playing well in his last game. And Desomnu plays 38 minutes but makes very little fantasy impact for me. We go into the Warriors versus the Suns, and Draymond got ejected from this one. Look, not loving what I'm seeing from Draymond, and he could see 10 games for this after getting 5 for his last one. Andrew Wiggins is a drop for me. 15 minutes in this one, minus 19, just ordinary. And Podziemski, come on, drop 20 from the bench. Just better options in Pod, in Kaminga. Saric is getting minutes. Yeah, I'm worried for Wiggins' career actually at the moment, the way that he's gone this year. Steph Curry wasn't his normal self. 24, 4 and 5, did get the 3 steals and minimal turnovers, actually only the one, but not too much to talk about here, apart from the 11 assists from Chris Paul. So that's really nice. And Klay Thompson, who'd been making a little bit of a resurgence, still played 27 minutes, had +4, but yeah, look, 2 of 10 from the field is going to burn you, but shooter's going to shoot. The Kings and the Clippers is the last one today, and Sabonis with 15 and 10, Kawhi Leonard with 31 points. The Clippers took care of the Kings. I actually expected the Kings to play a bit better in this one. 14 points from Fox, you expect more. 1 of 8 from Huerta. That's what you get when you have a little bit of a firecracker on your team. And just nobody really fired. Honestly, there's only 3 guys in double digits. They rolled out absolutely everybody trying to get, I suppose, anybody going from this lineup. But the Kings had a stinker today. Paul George, only the 9 points in 16 minutes. Kawhi Leonard, 31. James Harden with 15 and 7. Probably more what I expect to see from these guys. Norman Powell with his 15 points, but very little peripherals there. Let's have a look at the games going forward to tomorrow.
He's heating up.
I'm excited for tomorrow, just for some waiver wire pickups and to have some options there. There's a fair few games on tomorrow, so we'll try and cover them relatively quickly. We're going to see the Grizzlies versus the Rockets. I'm seeing it as 11 a.m., but obviously it's one of the first games over in America. And look, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Şengün's been really good. The Grizzlies look ordinary, but at the end of the week, we're going to see Ja Morant back, and we're going to see, I suppose, a new level of the Grizzlies. I think that they will be better. I'm really worried that they're going to throw in the towel, but surely they're going to have a bit of hope there. Marcus Smart, I believe, is getting a little bit closer. They're starting to give regular updates on Marcus Smart, whereas at the start they weren't. Look, I'm not seeing much there. Luke Kennard's even been hurting these guys being out. I think Santi Aldama should be rostered, but maybe a little bit of a buy low for Jaren Jackson Jr. I know that it's something I've been looking at in my leagues. And when it comes to Houston, look, Jalen Green and Jabari Smith Jr. has been a little bit disappointing for mine. Dylan Brooks, if you're streaming, I don't hate it. He's played above 30 minutes in his last 4 games. Whether that's been good or not, 1 20-point game, 1 2-point game, and 2 games in the teens there. He has been a little bit sick, but he will be back for this one against the Spurs. Fred VanVleet, one of the best guys assisting at the moment, but hasn't been taking as many, I suppose, shots as I expected. as we head into the next game, we have the Pacers and the Bucks. Still looking at your Malik Beasleys, your Chris Middletons. I've seen ducking around on the bench. I believe Chris Middleton is a get, but I actually kind of like the Pacers in this one. Of course, they got their big time, I suppose, stage there in the IST tournament. I really like Halliburton. I've really liked their bench center in there off the bench. I'm still probably going to be looking at Bobby Portis again. Sorry, when I have a look at the other guys at Milwaukee. But look, I like Obi Toppin at the moment. Yeah, there's a bit to love. I think that you can punt on a Benedict Mathurin or somebody like that. Sorry, I was meaning Isaiah Jackson there. I just liked what I've seen in his 16 and 17 minutes in his last couple of games. He's got into double digits in both of those. The 76ers versus the Pistons, I will not be tuning into them. But as much as I rag out, as much as I hate the Detroit Pistons to watch, there are some options when it comes to fantasy. Bogdanovic has come back pretty strong, playing 30 minutes, actually in 29 in the other one, playing over 27 minutes in his first 4 games, 17 points, 22 points, 22 points. He's been pretty good coming back. I know a lot of people have been looking at Killian Hayes in his 20 minutes in the last game. He was a bit disappointing. Bagley's out. Jalen Duren is injured for the foreseeable future. He's going to have 2+ weeks out. And Thompson, look, everybody's been getting dicked around a bit with these guys, but there could even be a buy low opportunity for Cunningham. I do just kind of like getting Cunningham in your lineups. I think Melton should be owned for the Philadelphia 76ers. Maxey has, of course, been elite. Kelly Oubre Jr., I've picked him up in a couple leagues. But yeah, look, he's been good in his few minutes that he's played. Look for him to ramp up. But business as per usual, and I think there's only 5 guys that you can own from Philly, being your Tobys, being your Embiid, being your Maxey, being your Melton, being your Kelly Oubre Jr., and everybody else just gets rotated around. And the 76ers have been a really good team this year, 15-7. The Pelicans versus the Wizards. Talking about teams I really don't love. Jordan Poole might be trending towards a drop. And as somebody that has him, that's really disappointing. He's still playing 24, 26 minutes in his last couple games. I've dropped Tyus Jones in a couple leagues. His minutes have been all over the shops. His production has been all over the shop. I think with these really bad teams, they're going to lean towards your Koulibaly's and some of these other guys that they just want to see get a run. Unless your name is Kyle Kuzma or Denny Avdia, I really don't like getting anybody in from the Wizards. When we have a look at the Pelicans, we've sort of had to move on a little bit from some of the guys that we're looking at. Your Dyson Daniels. Who else were we looking at there? Your Jordan Hawkins, those kind of guys with CJ McCollum coming back. CJ McCollum's been really good. Zion's a game time decision, and Jonas Valanciunas should be owned. Um, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. I never know which one's going to have I suppose, the better night at the time. But yeah, look, all things are kind of trending towards Herb Jones being the man there that holds that role. The Hornets versus the Heat. Since LaMelo's been out, Terry Rozier has been absolutely balling. Charlotte have been pretty ordinary, but Terry Rozier has been great. Bridges should be owned. Hoping Mark Williams is back. If not, look to Nick Richards. Miller's been consistent in the last couple games, and I'm going to delve into that. He's played, look, over 30 minutes in basically all his games from November 17th onwards. 16, 20 points, 12 points. We're talking, 6 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 assists. Brandon Miller at only 58% owned. He's 155th ranked player, but I think a lot of that is due to his slow start to the season, and Brandon Miller should be owned. Same as Gordon Hayward. He's been borderline elite, actually. Gordon Hayward turning back the clock a little bit, the 92nd ranked player at the moment. Yeah, maybe you could sell him if you've got him though. We are looking at the Heat next. Um, what is going on in Miami? And that is always due to the injury report that is going to be coming out. Bam's out, Tyler's out, Jimmy Buckets is back. Kyle Lowry can be good at any given stage. Kevin Love, I've seen getting picked up in a few spots. He's been a point per minute beast. Actually, he's been really good. 19 points in 21 minutes. They don't let him. He never plays that 40 minutes anymore with his age. And Orlando Robinson, who I thought was going to be getting the bump there, only got 20 and 22 minutes in his last couple games. So maybe look for a Kevin Love there. Um, Yame Yaquez Jr. Is still rosterable in formats, but sort of plateauing out a little bit. Only 24 minutes in his last one, even though he scored 18 points. Just the peripherals haven't been there for me. Um, Heading into the Hawks versus the Raptors. Look, the guy for the Raptors has been Scotty Barnes. Positional wise, he's been really good, but I do see him getting thrown out in a few trades. There's been some alarm bells there. In Toronto, Pascal Siakam, when he has an elite game, which he's had a few really good games recently, we see Scotty Barnes' production drop a little bit. Dennis Schroeder's assists have dropped. Um, Honestly, his minutes have been up there, but his points and assists have dropped off, which is worrying as I am an owner. If you see him as the 49th ranked player, you could probably try and move him on. OG Ananobi is still a hold, even though I found him pretty disappointing this year, as well as Jakob Pertl. Let's have a look at Atlanta. And these guys are going to be fighting for a playing spot at this stage. And I thought they'd be a lot better this year. Of course, Jalen Johnson's still injured. Look for the bump from Sadiq Bey. Trey Young's been really good when he has played. He did miss a game a couple of days ago with an injured shoulder. And yeah, look, he's questionable in a game time decision coming up into this one. If we see Trey Young sort of duck out, maybe a bump for you, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Maybe play a little bit more of I suppose, a point guard role. And he scored 40 in the last game, and he's only 78% rostered. So he's been getting a massive bump from Jalen being out and could get an even bigger bump with Trey Young out. Okongwu, of course, should get owned, and I wish Patty Mills would get more minutes. He's only played in 2 games and 17 minutes all year. Disappointing as, I suppose, a Australian over here. The Lakers, Anthony Davis has been absolutely elite as per usual. The Lakers have been doing it by committee, which I like. Just don't really like it for fantasy. I see 4 guys that can be rostered, and then the rest of the guys just as streamers. Have a punt at your Cam Reddishes, your Rui Hachimuras, your Torian Princes, just those sort of guys. Even your Jackson Hayes or your Christies if you're really feeling spicy in your deeper leagues. But none of those other guys are fully rosterable. The Spurs have been throwing absolutely anything out there just to see what sticks. And Pop will probably do that for the rest of the year. I haven't really liked it for Zach Collins with Victor Wembanyama moving to center in the last couple. Even I expected maybe Trey Jones to get a better opportunity in that lineup, but only 16 in the last one. Trey Jones has been good when given the opportunity. I'm not really sure what's happening. He's young. He's not even that small. I don't know. I'm not really liking it, and I'm staying away from people that aren't Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Victor Wembanyama from the Spurs. 2 games left, and we have the Nets versus the Suns. Mikal Bridges had an absolute rip snorter in his last game. Look for him to keep that going. A lot of stream options here. Your Royce O'Neals, your Dorian Finney-Smiths, Lonnie Walker when he's healthy. You just don't really know. But Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson coming back have sort of taken the puff out of a lot of those guys. Look what's going on with Ben Simmons. I'm not that proud to be wearing his jersey at the moment, but he can't help being injured. We haven't been getting any updates, and he has only played in the 6 games this year, of which he played over 30 minutes in all of those. I don't mind what I've been seeing from Dinwiddie. He's a bit of a firecracker, but he always scores quite well. and can come close to a double-double as well. With the Suns, I believe Grayson Allen is also still injured. I've looked to pick up Eric Gordon this week. Bradley Beal has come back, and look, it wasn't amazing, but look, it's good to see him back, and that's only going to be better for the team. Had 16 points in 27 minutes the other day. Look, I just saw him come back, and I think it'll take a little bit of time. Um, Grayson Allen missed the last one. Might miss this one. I kind of like Grayson Allen over Eric Gordon if he's playing, but since there's question marks over Grayson Allen at the moment, I've I've added Eric Gordon, and there's a great schedule for these guys this week. They're playing in a lot of games. When we have a look in New York, um, there's a few options, and they've sort of been moving everything around. Look, expect Hartenstein to get the bump of the minutes with Mitchell Robinson out. He's having surgery, so he'll be out for a period. But also look for maybe Julius Randle to slide across into the center, and maybe they just use their most talented players, which, your Dante DiVincenzo, your Quentin Grimes, yeah, Josh Hart, you quickly. It could be a little bit of a bump by committee there in the Knicks. I'm not 100% convinced that Mitch Robinson being out just means all these minutes go to Hartenstein, and Hartenstein suddenly becomes this great player. But definitely worth a punt. And if Hartenstein's in your league, definitely pick him up. In Utah, Keontae George has been the name that's getting thrown around a little bit. He was really good in the last one. Actually scored his career high 30 points, along with 7 assists. That's really good for the 125th ranked player out there in Utah. Jordan Clarkson played the other day, and then he is injured again in this one. He's out for the next 2 weeks. So he was injured. If you're trying to work out what's going on, he was injured, come back for 2 games, and right thigh contusion. He's going to be ruled out for the next couple of weeks. Who gets the bump there? Look, Kelly Olynyk could get some more minutes, and I know you're saying, hey, Kelly Olynyk is a power forward and a center, but I think that they're just going to have to slide some players around. Colin Sexton, Talon Horton-Tucker, even Fontecchio, I believe it's Simone Fontecchio, should get a bump in minutes as well. As always, we are going to look at the transaction trends that we look at every week, just to keep an eye on what's going on. And Benedict Mathurin is one of the most added, which I completely understand. Good schedule. Playing Milwaukee, was really good in the in-season tournament. Scored 30 points in his last game. Has scored in double figures in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 7. Benedict Mathurin, get him in your lineups. Dorian Finney-Smith is added, probably just due to there not being that many options. And Podziemski had a really good game for the Warriors the other day. He might have got a bump due to how ordinary Wiggins was and some of those other guys. I think they're still going to roll out Wiggins and try it, but Wiggins only played 14 minutes and Pod played 27. So he's only 7% rostered in deeper formats. He's worth a look. And Colin Sexton, he could get the bump. I see 1,383 people adding him at the moment. In 26 minutes, he scored 20, 4 rebounds and 2 assists and 2 steals in the last one. Look, a nice short and sweet one this week from me as I struggled to find some people to pop on with me. So shout out to the Standard Squeeze, Bonus Bank, and Ryan from Astute Newstead. And you have listened to an Insight Fantasy Sports podcast.